Today we have a special guest because I have finally reached down in the depths of my loins and all right, John, welcome back to the show for the first time in like 2 years.
Basically what happened, y'all, just to be real, I got my heart broken and I didn't know what to do about it. I gained a whole bunch of weight again. So after a while, I started to get readings, like tarot readings.
At this point in your journey, in your story, what was one of the therapies or techniques that you used that had the most impact? Because you mentioned, the acupuncture, the past life regression. What was having the most impact, or was it all kind of like temporary relief?
So the sound thing that I did, I feel like that. Well, okay, you said what was the best, but as far as the hierarchy, that was the least kind of effective. But one thing that it did do was allow me to start honing my discipline. Not that I was undisciplined, but just like doing something that requires your effort every day. Mm-hmm. Like it's very important. And again, not that I lacked in that, because I could fast and stuff, but just getting in the habit of doing something daily, because there's an energy requirement for you to do anything in this life. So you can't say I want to be better and you don't do nothing. But then there was, I think acupuncture would be second, just because that showed me things. It showed me okay, there's a very visceral effect. Like I would get the acupuncture and sometimes my finger would go numb. Like these two would just go numb while the needles are in there. I'm just like, there's difficulty in the energy flow. So just like learning, there's stuff going on, and okay, there's just little things that are keeping it from flowing the way that it's supposed to. And so then I got one. She put a needle one time in my forehead, and at the end of the session, she pulled it out. My eyes were closed, right? She pulled the needle out, and I saw a burst of colors.
Wow.
Eyes closed. Now, obviously, I've never talked about this on this channel or anything, but so I see energy when I close my eyes, and that was one of those things that really showed me that, okay, I'm not just hallucinating. I'm not just making she pulled that needle out. I'm seeing red, orange, yellow, green, blue. I'm just like, whoa, super vibrant. And I was just like, okay.
While your eyes were closed?
Yes, while my eyes were closed. I was this is just fast. This purely from a, child, oh my gosh, that's cool. But it's super fascinating. But the past life regression, that was the one that was most impactful at the time, because what had happened was I had started to develop a beer belly. Now, for those who don't know me, I don't drink. I'll go years at a time. I think the last time I had one was 2019 on a cruise, and that was the last time. So I started developing a beer belly, and I never liked beer. So I'm just developing this belly, and I'm just like, from what? Mm-hmm. How is this a thing? And I go through the past life regression, and so I'm going to skip, because it was like a 5-hour ordeal, although it didn't feel like it. But essentially what had happened was during that time, I got shot and in my gut, and that I didn't die, but I was injured for the remainder of my life. And I was injured, and I had not a limp, but I had an injury. I was walking with a limp, I had a stomach injury thing, and that was kind of the thing.
So hold on, let's clear this up a little bit,
sure,
just for people. So past life regression, what exactly is that? So
past life regression is you go under hypnosis. You have a hypnotherapist, or past life regression is who brings you down to a certain level, and don't get confused by hypnosis. It's not like, oh, you're a chicken now, so be a chicken. You're like, yeah, I'm a chicken. It's a lot of TV. But when you're going under hypnosis, you don't even realize that you're under hypnosis. And I know it sounds funny, but during a session, I had to pee. And I told him, hey, I gotta pee. He's like, okay, cool. I'll bring you up just enough. This is what he said. I'll bring you up just enough so you can go to the bathroom and go pee and come back. And I said, okay, cool. But meanwhile, I'm laying there. I don't feel I feel like I'm just sitting there with my eyes closed. That's just what I felt like. Mm-hmm. I get up to go pee. I get off the bed. I stand up, and I immediately double over as if I had been drinking. Like I was 4 shots, let's say 3 shots deep, because my limit used to be 4 of flavored vodka. So I'm a lightweight. I was doubled over like I'm 3 shots deep, and I'm walking to the bathroom, holding on to the walls because I cannot stand up straight.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I'm over the toilet trying to pee, and I'm wobbly because, and I'm just, now this was supposed to be a quick little bathroom break, but I'm shocked because all he did was said some words to me, essentially. Just, that's it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I thought,
You were getting sleepy.
No, the guy, he was more talking like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't even we're going to lull you into sleep. He was just like, you're going down, 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 down. And he was actually kind of loud because, I'm sensitive to sound. So it's kind of abrasive to me, but clearly there was no issue.
That's so interesting. It's
very fascinating. So I go back. I'm just like, I couldn't wait to get back into bed so I'd get laid down again.
Right.
So, he takes you down, and what happens is he slowly regresses you from adulthood to childhood. And obviously from childhood, I'm thinking of stuff that I haven't thought of in many years, many years. Like, the apartment, Dad's apartment from back in the day, and like being in that space when we were living in that area, and like going to that one park. I feel like I had this
in the apartment complex.
Another park
okay.
where we live. I had that little toy camcorder, the yellow camcorder, or blue and yellow camcorder, and that's that slide that we would go down. Like, I'm thinking of stuff I haven't thought of in like 30 years.
By the way, if you're talking about the slide in Shippensburg, you were probably like 3.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, I have a good memory, but so then something crazy happens, because I'm telling him, the therapist, you tell them, they just bring you to that level. So he just brings you back and, down, lower, or younger and younger. Then I think of something where I'm seeing something. I'm seeing my mother on the couch, and she's 9 months pregnant. I'm just like, that's me in there. I'm in there. But it's just like, how can I see that, right? Then it's just like you go back further from, well, at this point, I just started to go into like this tunnel. I saw it. I'm seeing this white tunnel, and then I'm like, boom, I'm somewhere else, and I'm adult again. So a past life regression, it's just taking you back from this life that you're in right now, and regressing you back down to like a child, and then like a baby, maybe in the womb, and then there's some sort of happening with you transporting back. Because I'm telling them what I'm seeing. I'm not like, the thing is, I'm not making this up. I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
I'm just telling them what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So, and then so that's what a past life regression is. Then I'm in this. I'm remembering stuff that I've never experienced as Jonathan. I'm remembering stuff that and I'm he's.
So the story that you were telling earlier was your experience, what you experienced. You went to this therapist, you did the past life regression, you're telling him what you're seeing, and then this is the story that you saw play out.
Yes. So when I'm there, so that's what happens. So I'm in this place, and he's looking around. Something happened, and I'm seeing, I'm chasing this guy. He's like an outlaw type of guy, just doing bad stuff. I get shot, and I'm alive and everything, but in that life, there was a couple of things that happened. So there was the misery from that. What I learned later was that I was married. I married young, and actually, he's one of my exes. I looked at you, so you know who it is.
I know exactly who it was.
Okay. So I married young, and then we have a child. But the thing that's happened, I was explaining this to him. He's asking me, because he asked me who else was significant during this time, and it was her and my son, and she had died during childbirth. But my son was also stillborn. So in the matter of 3 minutes, I lost my wife and my son. And when I was telling him this story, I could feel myself starting to cry. It was the realest, most visceral. Who like makes that kind of stuff up? Like, in the feelings that I was feeling, I couldn't just call that up. That was like from experience. And it's funny because when he asked me something else, it's like as soon as we went to something else, like it was gone. So it's just like I'm really just reliving that energy, but I wasn't. It's kind of hard to explain. It wasn't making. I was just reliving it. So at the end of that life, I was, I got shot and I was injured, and then, I'm just, as I'm passing on, I just remember he's asked like, "What do you feel during those last moments?" And I was just like, I was afraid and I was angry, and I was asking, why did my life end up like this? Just alone, without my wife, without my son, injured and dying in a tornado. It was just like super depressing. And so it's just like I was carrying around this energy from that wound, and I think it just energetically just kind of weakened me or my aura or whatever, because I just developed this this gut. And funny thing after that, so finally at the end, it's like a week and a half later, I had noticed that my gut, that beer belly that I had, went away. I was just like, the beer belly gone.
Wow.
So that was the most powerful as far as like things that I did that actually had like a real visceral effect.
That's interesting, man.
It's extremely fascinating. And I was just, not that I needed proof, because I already believed in past lives and that kind of thing, but it just further cemented the idea that we're just made of a bunch of energy, and things carry over, and they're not always good. And it might require you to do some work now so that you can let go of stuff that you're holding on to that doesn't serve you.
Yeah, man, just hearing that story and that whole process, it makes me interested. The thing that, I don't know what other people know or think, but me and John, we have very different opinions on different topics, and maybe not very different. Well, yeah, our opinions are different. I'm super open-minded. John's super open-minded. So, we can have conversations about things, and it just makes me curious and interested. You know what I mean? That's my reaction versus even if I don't believe in past reincarnation, now I'm interested.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really what being open-minded is about. It's not about necessarily believing something. It's really just hearing somebody's story, it was real for them, and being interested and be like, I'd like to know more about that for myself, because you never know what you can get out of it.
Right.
And there's 100 different ways that you could take these stories and these experiences and explain them away. But why is that always our first course of action? Let's explain this away. When you think about science, that's what science is designed to do. It's not about the exploration of the unknown. It's about, status quo and making sure that you believe what you're supposed to believe. So I'm very interested. Obviously, this is the first time that we've talked about this. I'm very interested in doing some of these things for myself.
Yeah.
When I take the time to do it, because you have done a lot that I have not even touched, essentially. And I'm just curious to see, because when it comes to hypnosis, I've always been interested in it. Now, when it comes to that comedic hypnosis, that's not interesting to me.
Right.
But the ability to hypnotize yourself, I think to a degree, affirmations are a form of hypnosis. It's like you repeat words over and over again until it's seated in your subconscious. And then that starts to sprout a certain action or demeanor or attitude.
Right.
So the past life regression sounds like it was amazing. You moved to Arizona. You did start seeing benefits in your quote unquote love life from being on your Venus line. So that was cool. That gave credence to, what you were learning as far as that goes. Were there any other significant moments or therapies or things that helped to kind of change the direction that you were heading?
Yes. So one thing that I did was I would use my phone, and I decided to I was like, what's the issue? Like, whose fault is this? And I'm just like, everything that happened, it's my fault. Everything that happened. And it's just like, this, that really taking accountability. But
Radical accountability. That's what Steve calls it.
I call it radical acceptance. But yeah, that's funny. You say that same word. But it's just like, it's my fault. Whether it doesn't matter that I thought this and I wasn't ready, and none of that matters. The point is, I was the reason, and I'm just like, and I've forgiven other people for how they treated me and this and that, but I had never forgiven myself for even putting myself in that situation to begin with. So I took my phone, voice recorder, and I apologized to myself for all the crap. So I apologized to my body for all the stuff that I had done, and then this and that. And then I sat down. I did this at night. I sat down, and then I listened to it patiently. Now, I literally just said these words. I mean, it was like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever. I literally just said the words. Took a break for 10 seconds and listened to it. And I'm listening to it again from the perspective of, like, the victim. Like,
right.
I was the offense or aggressor and the victim. Mm-hmm. And then I'm listening to this and I'm crying.
Yeah.
Bawling my eyes out because I'm just like, and then it's just like accepting the apology from myself. I recorded another one, accepting the apology from myself. And I'm just like, it was such a powerful experience. And I don't, there's something about you listening to your own voice. Don't just say it. Don't just say it and then listen to your own voice talking to you. It is incredibly powerful. And I did that, and I was just like bawling my eyes out. And I was just like, because people say, oh, well, you gotta forgive yourself. And it's like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
What does that look like?
Right.
And so I just developed a way that I can do that for myself, because they say it, but people say things, but they don't give you the mechanics.
Because they don't know how.
Well,
I mean, people don't know, John. Like, this is what makes AHA such a powerful platform, because we speak from personal experimentation, our experiences, and when you go through things, you write the books. You know what I'm saying? It's different from reading a book that someone wrote versus the person who wrote the book.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you actually talk about this exercise, because we did a retreat. And Mel did a speech, and he had the entire group, the whole retreat there, record some affirmations, and then the challenge was to listen to that affirmation 2 times a day, when you wake up, first thing before you do anything, when you wake up and before you go to sleep, for the same reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yours was different as far as like the words and but the effect is it's the same type of effect you can have. It's like you're speaking to yourself, and then also the other thing is mirror work. Yes. It's kind of like mirror work as well. So when you look in the mirror and you do these things, because obviously we haven't always had recording devices, so there's many ways to go about doing this, but the fact is we have many ways to do it. It's like, do it.
So do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Shouts out to Louise Hay.
That's powerful, John. Keep going, man. What you got going on?
Yeah, it was, and I told someone about it, and she had it was a very visceral reaction. It's just like, okay, there's something. Like I know I'm not crazy, right? I know I'm not crazy. But I'm just like, if you are honest, and I'm a huge proponent of authenticity. Like, that's, authenticity and being honest with like things. Yes, things you might ask me, I might be uncomfortable to tell you the truth, but I'm going to tell you the truth, because my energy just works better that way. Mm-hmm. I don't want to lie. And because you weaken yourself when you lie. Like when you energy test and you call yourself a different name, like it literally weakens you.
Right.
So, tell the truth, because your energy flows better when you do. So that was one thing. That was major. I would go see movies. I went to see the the Spider-Man movie, and I'm having reactions about stuff that's happening. Not because it's a sad movie, but because I'm thinking about the things he's experiencing and putting myself, and I'm just, oh my gosh, this is really painful for me. And I would talk about it. I make videos and I talk about it because I feel like, it's important. So, but anyway, so there was a moment where we went to Sedona with the light worker people. We went to the Sedona, And Sedona is like famous for like people always go to Sedona like, oh, I want to feel the energy, because like a lot of people can just, you put your hands on the rock and like you can feel the energy. So we go, people are walking up, they're not in our group. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys feel that? And meanwhile, I'm just like, girl, I don't feel nothing. What? Where?
Oh my gosh, there's energy everywhere.
Where is it? You know, I don't feel it. And so I was kind of disappointed, because I was like, man, like I know I'm, you know, especially as I'm working, I'm growing, like I'm pretty intuitive. I've had some cool experiences, but I'm just trying to get a grasp on it. And what had happened was that not everybody intuits energy the same way. And I know for me, like I said, I see energy when I close my eyes. So I tried again as we were leaving. I put my hand on the ground, and I closed my eyes. And when I did that, then I started seeing the waves like this. They were white. The lines were white, and they were doing like this. And I was just like, oh, I see it now. I don't feel it. I see it.
Right.
The vibration that everybody's talking about. Like, I see it. I didn't feel it though. And that was cool, because I'm just like, I felt, you know, like broken or something. It was like, what's wrong with me? You know,
where are my powers?
Where my powers at?
That's dope though, to be able to, you know what I mean, start to understand that, because we are different, and it's like you think everyone's gonna have same experience the same way, and it's completely different.
It's not. Yeah, you might hear something, or you might feel. It's just, but like, the exploration that allows you, the individual, to hone in on what your thing is. It may just be feeling. You may just get impressions. People think that, oh, I'm just making up this stuff. I'm just seeing all this random stuff. I'm just making this stuff up. I've got an active imagination. Like, no, bro, you're getting intuitive hits. You're not just, yes, you can't imagine a red dragon with purple wings breathing ice instead of fire. You can imagine that. But if you're just talking to your brother and then you get a hit of something, you didn't make that up. That was information that was given to you. You know, but like, they look the same, because the imagination is the faculty by which these things take place. So you think it's almost making it up, but you're really getting it. So, so that was kind of that like, okay, that was a cool experience. And then later on that evening, we did a hapé ceremony, and hapé is just a plant medicine that's, you know, legal in the United States. It's basically a tobacco, and the natives use it, and it's just like they blow it in your nose. They blow it in both of your nostrils, and what happens is that the herbs sit here, and it helps decalcify your pineal gland, and you know, it makes you feel really grounded in your body and just, you know, relaxing. It's a very relaxing thing, but it helps to decalcify your pineal gland and start to kind of wake you up. So I was just like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this. And I watched the first girl, Gabby, go, and she had done it before, so Renee had given her like a stronger blow. And her reaction was so visceral. People were just like, well, that's what's supposed to happen? And like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know about this one. But it was cool. You know, it was good. She was fine. It was just, you know, a strong thing. I had noticed that so we had talked, our group, we always talk via the computer. And it's like, I know these people, but they're just computer people. Like, they're not real, right? So I didn't feel, oh, we talk, so we're close. That's not how I operate. Like, I need to feel your energy in person. That's just how it is for me. So I was very kind of closed off, and I wanted to be more open, but I was closed off, and I put boundaries up, because growing up as a child, I would make friends too quickly, and then like I would regret it, because I would be like, oh my gosh. So you know, I've been using an antiquated protection mechanism for like, you know, 20 something years. But anyway, so I'm there, and I'm having the hapé experience. First of all, my heart started like boot doot 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 doot. And I remember saying, I said, hey, calm down. It's okay. And my heart was doot 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 doot. I was like, okay, we're ready now. So it's just like, talk to yourself. Like, you respond. Like, your body will respond. It's just, you know. So anyway, so I did that to calm myself down, because I started getting excited, like overly. I'm just like, oh, it's okay. Calm down. You're safe. It's okay. So I had the experience, and the first thing that happened was that I just was smiling uncontrollably. And I know it was uncontrollable because I tried to stop smiling and I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't stop. I was just like, I was smiling uncontrollably and I couldn't. Then I was also crying. And I was crying, smiling, and I was trying to stop. I couldn't. I was just like, okay. And what I had noticed was after that moment, I think the reason I was crying was because there were these boundaries, these I prefer to call them this like walls, brick walls instead of boundaries. But there were these walls up that I had that were made with, brick and mortar, that is preventing me from getting to know these beautiful people that whom I was sharing the space. And when I had that experience, those brick walls came down. And then I was able to actually allow myself to get closer and connect with these people, because that whole day I was very standoffish, just, very gradually, like, I'm not going to trust you yet. I'll trust a little bit at a time until I can trust you. But it just, broke that barrier down. And I think there was a deep-seated thing that has been there, that had been preventing me from my relationships with other people from flourishing. So that was so cool, because I didn't know that was there. I didn't know that was there. I didn't have that expectation. And after I just felt so grounded, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I wish that I could feel like this all the time. Like, I wish that I could feel like this all the time. It was good to just be, and to not be on guard, to not have that resistance.
I know somebody else who needs that.
Oh, yeah?
One of our very good friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's important for people to understand, because like I used to talk a lot about how the journey, my health and wellness journey has changed my life in ways that it's hard to articulate, because it happens gradually. It happens in ways that may not be as significant to other people as it is to you, but it's so much greater than just your physical health and your mental wellness and even your spiritual prowess. It's like your life increases. So like I was doing a live maybe Friday it was Saturday, talking about my fast that I recently did. And something earlier that day or the day before had kind of triggered me to want to talk about this. But basically I was talking about how, like, somebody had actually asked me in the chat, did you experience like an emotional detox during your fast, which we've talked about many different times. Yes. I'm sure that you've experienced that on different levels. But before they asked that question, I wanted to talk about it because someone had prompted me, maybe like a short or something I had seen. It's funny how that happens. Like you have an intention to do something and then it just works out the way you want, right? And I'm like, I said, I don't have emotional detoxes on my fast anymore, because I'm like happy now. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have moods. I have, obviously, I mean, even when you first got back, I was telling you all the stuff that's happened to me over the past year. It's not been an easy year by no stretch of the imagination.
Right.
But regardless of what happens in life, like, I'm a happy person.
Yes.
So I don't do nearly as much emotional detoxing as I used to, because I feel like I'm past that point. And I think that a lot of people, they just do not understand the benefit of this process and what it could, cause like how many people can really say I'm happy?
No, yeah.
I mean, once again, it goes back to earlier, you ask 100 people if they're happy. Most people, maybe not 99%, most people, 51% will probably say yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even the ones that think they're happy because their life is good right now, because that's really what they base it, is like, life is good right now. It's like, it's not true happiness. It's like, you're
experiencing a happy feeling in this moment.
You're just having a good moment right now.
You want to know if somebody's happy? Go to the grocery store. Go to the outlet. I was at Puma Outlets the other day. Packed. Everybody in there shopping. I forgot that it's the holiday season, so I'm totally oblivious. Totally oblivious. But I'm like, okay.
People doing here?
Oh, it was thick. It was every parking space. I was like, what is going on? It took me like an hour to realize
it's the holiday season.
Chris.
we live in a whole different world, so I know exactly what you feel like.
Yes. So I'm in Puma, right? I'm getting my shoes. And I noticed that I'm sitting there and I'm just I wasn't smiling. I was like Mona Lisa smiling. I'm smiling. There's a long line. There was like 20 people in the line, and I'm sitting there just smiling in the back of the line, smiling. And I look around, and everybody's frowning. Now they're not, I'm angry, but they're frowning. They're just, and I'm sitting here looking goofy because I'm literally smiling. Just, So if you want to know if somebody's happy or not, get them in their neutral state. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you have to be like, but there's a pretty good indication because it takes less energy to smile than it does to frown. So when I go to the store, I notice people literally are in there frowning, getting their groceries. And it's just something that I noticed. It's like kind of like what your smiling is like it is an indicator of your vibration, like where you at vibrationally. And it's like maybe somebody had something happen or whatever, but most people walk around with a scowl on their face and not a smile. So
I don't know what I walk around with because I have a very a resting bee face. So I don't know where I would lean. I think my face probably mostly looks neutral because I'm in deep thought most of the time. Mm-hmm. Like I spend most of my time and it's crazy because like when I talk to somebody new, they're like, "Why do you know so much?" And it's like, because I literally am in deep thought all the time. It's just what I do. I love it. I don't listen. I don't actively listen to music. I don't really do a lot of listening to podcasts, and I just think. I think a lot of people are like, that sounds boring. But like my thoughts are not, and this is something that you actually opened my eyes up to. Like my thoughts aren't like other people's. I don't know what other people's thoughts are like, but mine are like they're amazing. Like when I think something, I see it. So I'll be in a different world. It's not the same as me. Like it's not what I think other people perceive it to be. So I guess it's my form of meditation.
Yeah.
But I just said that because I don't know. If I'm sitting there thinking, I don't think I have that slight curve. I swear my stuff is just straight, just horizontal, 90 degrees. Just
yeah. Well, and I think there's a part that it's the training yourself to do that. And by that I mean whatever your subconscious programming is, right? Like what's your overarching goal in life? And when you think of that, it should bring you joy. Like wherever your life is going, whatever direction it's heading. But like the main thing that I moved from this place and everything is a result of that thing should make you joyful. And if that's the program, like, okay, this is my main thing in life. And then it's just like, okay, well, everything I do is from that place. And I think it takes reprogramming because, again, we're programmed from birth to whatever the thing is. And however your parents were, that's going to be the large determining factor. And if they didn't program you to, whatever the thing is, that's going to be your, and you have to do the work to go back and unprogram, to deprogram. And it takes conscious, concerted effort. Like you have to actively do it. And a good example is like in dating. And I had this thing with tattoos. 'Cause I'm not a tattoo guy, but it was a thing that would literally keep me from dating a woman that I was really into because I'm just like, oh, she got them tattoos though. And it was, and I got into a point where just in my journey with, this book that I read and like training your mind, I was just like, I decided that I don't want that to be a thing anymore. I don't want that to be, because how many beautiful people, especially nowadays, have tattoos? A lot.
Very common.
Very common. So I'm like, the dating pool is already, there's already pee in the dating pool, right? They already, right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. So I'm just like, how much smaller is it by eliminating women with tattoos? So I'm just like, okay, well. And then it's just like, I decided to not be a thing. And then like literally it wasn't a thing anymore. Let's just say the next day. That's how quick it was. It wasn't a thing anymore. And now look at women with tattoos that were attractive to me in the face, but they maybe had a chest tattoo. And I was just like, I'd date her. I was just like, what? I would? I'm just like, yeah, you would. I was like, dang.
That was quick.
Like,
yeah.
But that's also a result of my meditation and
I'm like, you're just at a place where you can do that though.
Right.
Everybody can't do that.
Right.
But this goes back to what we were talking about, a few minutes ago, the benefit of this journey and honing your skills.
Yeah.
And honing your ability. So now when you learn something, you can absorb it and apply it more masterfully than, somebody who does. It's like when I apply a new therapy to my body, I know sometimes I have more expressed reactions. My reactions are bigger than other people because my body is more honed.
Yep.
Versus someone who maybe has more dull senses and things.
Yep, that's right. And that's one thing that, like when we did the liver flush and yours, I was just like, dang, man, your liver flush was so good. It took me 10 tries to get a successful liver flush. He was successful, very successful the first time. And I was hurt. I was like, man, what? What's going on with me? But then that goes back to that perseverance because I didn't give up. And if you've done that liver flush, it's, you drinking that stuff, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, come on, man. I'm doing all the things.
Doing everything right. I want to get a reaction here.
I want the thing,